Alright, this is from Selected Poems by W.H. Auden, vintage 1979, which is copyright, but. I'm just gonna go through reading poems. I don't feel like making individual ones for poems anymore, because I don't think these are really good. So I'm just gonna read through them. Number 1. Who stands the crux left of the watershed? On the wet road between the chafing grass, below him sees dismantled washing floors, snatches of tramline running to the wood, an industry already comatose yet sparsely living. A ramshackle engine at Cashwell raises water. For 10 years it lay flooded, workings until this. Its latter office grudgingly performed. And further, here and there, though many dead lie under the poor soil, some acts are chosen, taken from recent winters. 2 there were, cleaned out, a damaged shaft by hand, clutching the winch the gale would tear them from. 1 died during a storm, the fells impassable, not at his village, but in wooden shape, through long abandoned levels, nosed his way, and his final valley went to ground. Go home now, stranger, proud of your young stock. Stranger, turn back now, frustrate and vexed. This land, cut off, will not communicate. Be ye no accessory content to one, aimless for faces rather there than here. Beams from your car may cross a bedroom wall, they wake no sleeper. You may hear the wind arriving driven from the ignorant sea to hurt itself on pain, on bark of elm where sap unbaffled rises, being spring. But seldom this. Near you, taller than grass, ears poised before a decision, scenting danger. August 1927. Yeah, that's why these were bad, because they're early. Number 2. That was the first one, number 1. These are untitled. From the very first coming down into a new valley with a frown, because of the sun and a lost way, you certainly remain. Today, I, crouching behind a sheep pen, heard travel across a sudden bird, cry out against the storm, and found the year's arc a completed round, and love's worn circuit rebegun, endless with no dissenting turn. Shall see, shall pass, as we have seen the shallow on the tile, spring's green, preliminary shiver, past a solitary truck, the last of shunting in the autumn. But now, to interrupt the homely brow, thought warm to evening through and through, your letter comes, speaking as you, speaking of much, but not to come. Nor speech is close, nor fingers numb. If love not seldom has received an unjust answer was deceived. I, decent with the seasons, move different, or with a different love, nor question overmuch the nod, the stone smile of this country god, that never was more reticent, always afraid to say more than it meant. December 1927. I'm gonna press this button to keep the light on, because last time I was recording and my face went dark. Number 3. Control of the passes was, he saw, the key to this new district, but who would get it? He, the trained spy, had walked into the trap for a bogus guide, seduced with the old tricks. At Greenhearth was a fine site for a dam and easy power, had they pushed the rails some stations nearer. They ignored his wires. The bridges were unbuilt and trouble coming. The street music seemed gracious now to one for weeks up in the desert. Woken by water running away in the dark, he often had reproached the night for a companion dreamed of already. They would shoot, of course, parting easily, who were never joined. January 1928. Just blowing through these so fast. Number 4. Taller than today, we remember similar evenings, walking together in the windless orchard, where the brook runs over the gravel, far from the glacier. Again in the room with the sofa hiding the gate. Great. Look down to the river when the rain is over. See him turn to the window, hearing our last of Captain Ferguson. It is seen how excellent hands have turned to commonness. One staring too long, went blind in a tower. One sold all his manners to fight, broke through, and faltered. Nights come bringing the snow, and the dead howl under the headlands in their windy dwelling, because the adversary put 2 easy questions on lonely roads. But happy now, though no nearer each other, we see the farms lighted all along the valley. Down at the mill shed the hammering stops, and men go home. Noises at dawn will bring freedom for some, but not this peace. No bird can contradict passing, but is sufficient now for something fulfilled this hour, loved or endured. March 1928. Number 5. Watch any day his nonchalant pauses. See his dexterous handling of a rap as he steps after into cars. The beggar's envy. There is a free one, many say, but ere. He is not that returning conqueror, nor ever the pole circumnavigator. But poised between shocking falls on razor edge has taught himself this balancing subterfuge of the accosting profile, the erect carriage. The song, varied action of the blood would drown the warning from the iron wood, would cancel the inertia of the buried. Traveling by daylight on from house to house, the long way to the intrinsic peace, with love's fidelity and love's weakness. March 1929. Don't know what that was about. False pretenses? I don't know. Something like that? I don't know what it has to do with love. Number 6. Will you turn a deaf ear to what they said on the shore? Interrogate their poises in their rich houses? Of stork-legged heaven-reachers, of the compulsory touchers, the sensitive amusers, and masked amazers. Yet wear no ruffian badge, nor lie behind the hedge, waiting with bombs of conspiracy in armpit secrecy. Carry no talisman for germ or the abrupt pain, needing no concrete shelter nor porcelain filter. Will you wield death anywhere in his invalid chair, with no affectionate instant but his attendant? For to be held for friend by an undeveloped mind, to be joke for children is death's happiness. Whose anecdotes betray his favorite color as blue, color of distant bells and boys' overalls. Ew, that sounds really gross. That sounds perverted, like molesty. His tales of the bad lands disturb the sewing hands, hard to be superior on parting nausea. To accept the cushions from women against martyrdom, yet appalling the circuits of racing cyclists. Never to make the signs, fear neither maelstrom nor zones, salute with soldiers' wives when the flag waves. Remembering there is no recognized gift for this, no income, no bounty, no promised country. But to see braves sent home, hermetically sealed with shame, and coals victorious wrestle with molten metal. A neutralizing peace and an average disgrace are honor to discover for later other. September 1929. I have no idea what this is about. Seems kind of like soldiers. Oh my god, I'm losing my page. Alright, number 7. Sir, no man's enemy, forgiving all, but will his negative inversion be prodigal? Send to us power and light, a sovereign touch, curing the intolerable neutral itch, the exhaustion of weaning, the liar's quinsy, and the distortions of ingrown virginity. Prohibit sharply the rehearsed response and gradually correct the coward's stance. Cover in time with beams those in retreat, that, spotted, they turn though the reverse were great. Publish each healer that in city lives, or country houses at the end of drives. Harrow the house of the dead. Look shining at new styles of architecture, a change of heart. October 1929. I have no idea what that was about either. I think once I get to 10, I'm going to stop it so the upload doesn't take, like, ages. Or I'll stop at, like, 15 minutes or something. Number 8. Part 1. It was Easter as I walked in the public gardens, hearing the frogs exhaling from the pond, watching traffic of magnificent cloud moving with anxiety on open sky. Season when lovers and writers find an altering speech for altering things, an emphasis on new names, on the arm a fresh hand with fresh powder. But thinking so, I came at once where solitary man sat weeping on a bench, hanging his head down, with his mouth distorted, helpless and ugly as an embryo chicken. Yeah. Kind of look like this. Just an embryo chicken. I can't see because I'm an embryo. And I look ugly because I'm a chicken. So I remember all of those whose death is a necessary condition of the season's setting forth, who sorry in his time look only back to Christmas intimacy, a winter dialogue fading in silence, leaving them in tears. And recent particulars come to mind, the death by cancer of a once hated master, a friend's analysis of his own failure, listened to at intervals throughout the winter, at different hours and in different rooms, but always with success of others for comparison, the happiness, for instance, of my friend Kurt Groot, absence of fear in Gerhard Meyer, from the sea, the truly strong man. A bus ran home, then. On the public ground lay fallen bicycles like huddled corpses. No chattering valves of laughter emphasized, nor the swept gown ends of a gesture stirred the sessile hush, until a sudden shower fell willing into grass and closed the day, making choice seem a necessary error. April 1929. Part 2. Coming out of me living is always thinking changing, and changing living, and feeling as it was seeing. In city leaning on harbor parapet to watch a colony of duck below, sit, preen, and doze on buttresses, or upright paddle on flickering stream, casually fishing at a passing straw. Those find sun's luxury enough. Shadow know not of homesick foreigner, nor restlessness of intercepted growth. All this time was anxiety at night, shooting and barricade in street. Walking home late, I listened to a friend talking excitedly of final war of proletariat against police. That one shot girl of 19 through the knees. They threw that one down concrete stair, till I was angry, said I was pleased. Time passes in Hessen, in Gutensberg, with hilltop and evening holds me up. Tiny observer of enormous world. Smoke rises from factory and field, memory of fire. On all sides, heard vanishing music of isolated larks. From village square voices in hymn, men's voices, and old use. And I above standing, saying, thinking, is first baby, warm in mother, before born and is still mother. Time passes and now is other, is knowledge in him now of other. Cries in cold air, himself no friend. In grown man also, may see in face in his day, thinking, and in his night, thinking, is wareness, and is fear of other, alone in flesh, himself no friend. Jeez, this is freaking annoying. I'm getting sick of you already, man. I think this was his experimental phase where stuff sucks. He say, we must forgive and forget. Forgetting saying but is unforgiving, and unforgiving is in his living. Body reminds in him to loving. Reminds but takes no further part. Perfunctorily affectionate in hired room, but takes no part and is unloving but loving death. May see in death, in face of death, that loving wish, as one returns from Africa to wife and his ancestral property in Wales. Yet sometimes man look and say good at strict beauty of locomotive, completeness of gesture or unclouded eye, and me so absolute unity of evening and field and distance was in me for peace, was over me in feeling without forgetting those ducks' indifference, that friend's hysteria, without wishing and with forgiving, to love my life not as other, not as bird's life, nor as child, cannot, I say, being no child, nor now a bird. May 1929. Part 3 is long and it keeps going. So I'm going to stop it here. Probably not going to read any more because this stuff sucks.